Behind Enemy Lines. Joining me on the line right now, always a pleasure to welcome back to the show, a good friend. We've had him on. Not only a very talented, entertaining gentleman, but someone who has served our country, active duty Marine, and just overall one of the best people I've ever interviewed on the show. And a pleasure to welcome him back, John Preston. John, thanks for coming back on, man.
How are you?
Things are great, man. I'm glad to have you back on. I'm excited to talk to you, not only because of the project that we're going to be talking about that is been recently released, and I guess the rollout is continuing, but also we haven't really talked since we talked before the election, we talked a little bit during the campaign period, but now here we are in the era of Donald Trump, and I wanted to get your thoughts on that first and foremost.
I'm happy to see it happen. Honestly, I am pro-Republican regardless of which way it went, and honestly, I think this is a dude that's going to do what he says, and he's already starting to prove that, so it's exciting to see him in there. It's exciting to see General Mattis in there. So I'm pretty stoked about what we have ahead for the next 4 years. If everyone gives him a chance, I think he's going to, take care of business.
I'd like to think so. I mean, there's some news that's personally disappointed me thus far, but all in all, and taking the good with the bad, I'm hopeful. And I think that's the word that I'm hearing a lot of people, that they're hopeful that things are going to be okay. Now, of course, you still have contacts with your fellow brothers in arms. What have you been hearing from them about how they feel about the new era of Donald Trump?
It's a positive reaction. That's the thing is, they have someone now that is showing right away that he cares about his military, from going to visit the family of the fallen Navy SEAL unannounced, not making a media issue out of it. If you remember, the Obama administration didn't even go to Chris Kyle's funeral, who's one of our biggest heroes ever in this country, while at that same time the Bush administration had them in box seats at the Dallas Stadium, completely catered and taken care of. It's a different feel for the actual care, and there's a lot of things happening on the other side of the world that a lot of us are fed up with. We lost our war. Our war was given away. There's an enemy there that needs to be destroyed, and now I have a feeling that's going to happen pretty quickly.
It definitely feels that way. I mean, when you see it before a joint session of Congress, he actually says radical Islamic terrorism. You feel like, okay, now we have a president that gets it. I definitely feel that way for sure.
The comedy in that, I believe he was actually told not to say it.
Right.
Like, he was actually warned, don't say that. And he came out and said it. And that's what I love about the guy, is all of us here that have been there, especially, we know what it is. It's madness. It's such a madness of just ideology idiocy, and we know what it is. And there's nothing wrong with saying exactly that. And I'm proud that our president did. Absolutely.
And the other thing I guess we have to talk about for you personally is not only this project, but you're now with Pacific Records, which is pretty cool. I think last time we spoke, there was maybe happening, could have been happening, but now you're there with a label and everything. That's got to feel like a huge accomplishment.
It's nice. It's definitely beyond even just them. We've built a huge team, man. We have a ton of people that are getting behind us from a lot of different organizations, from big companies, anyone from Facebook.com right now to we're talking to really big companies, and we're looking at even bigger things to happen along with this release that are still the wheels are spinning. I'm super excited, but it's been a ton of work too. I've been grinding. I executive produced the album that's coming out on the 17th, and I haven't stopped. I'll get off the phone with you. It's a Saturday, and I'm going to have 2 or 3 more phone calls back to back off of yours, and I already had 2 this morning. It's just that pace has to be kept, but I'm excited that we're getting these releases, and I've known the guys at Pacific for a long time, so they've really been to what I need, and I always ask for a lot because I plan on moving the earth with what I'm doing.
Yeah, and let me tell you, man, it is so gratifying to see your success. I remember when, Your War Is Over came out, and it really started a deeper conversation about issues with veterans, but it also kind of introduced you to the world, and now, this guy from Kentucky is he's got a team now, like you said. You have a force behind you, and it's got to feel really gratifying, the response and the momentum that's been built.
Yeah, it does, man. It does. Looking back, I mean, what I've gone through to get here isn't really what I want, but everything is growth. Everything that I do is growth, and I've realized, regardless of the team that I have behind me, that I still have to work as hard. I still have to keep pushing and keep driving. I did a entrepreneur podcast the other day, and it's amazing how online that is. You think of artists as just musicians, and they go and they play music, and it's not that at all. We have to be out constantly talking about and selling our product, and for me, God blessing, this product is my heart. It's everything in my life. It's devastated my own life, and for me, I can't help but drive. I can't help but push, and it's really made a difference.
Well, and let's make it clear to the audience that may not know your backstory. It's been a long road to get here for you. And especially, after all that you suffered in the effects of war and being overseas. Well, just very briefly explain to everybody the road that it took to get here. I know that's like a loaded question. We can do a whole show on it. But
right.
Give everybody just
2 hours on that. But
give the elevator speech for that.
Summarize.
Yeah, absolutely. Tell them that road.
Okay, yeah. So basically, probably September of 2014, I started this back. I released my first single, This Is War, and it gave us an opportunity to do something I never expected I could do in life again, because I played music in 2004, was very successful, and had no idea I was going to go back after this. I attacked the public with veterans with post-traumatic stress and with veteran suicide. Your War Is Over was completely about that. And every time I've had a media appearance, I always talked about veteran suicide. I always talked about post-traumatic stress, and I've always been very aggressive at getting that out to the public. I started before the 22 existed, and I was making noise. That's been my plan since the very beginning. I am a veteran with post-traumatic stress. I do deal with it. I have fought it. I want to show the world that it's possible to move forward from it. January of last year, kind of I don't know what you call it. You call it a kick in the ass, kick in the nuts, whatever you want to say. It hurt. My older brother, Marine Corps veteran and police officer for 20 years, lost his battle with post-traumatic stress. He lost his battle with depression, and he swallowed a .40 caliber bullet. This was not just an older brother. This was not just a family member. This was a man that was the number 2 man in my life, and we had lost our dad 6 months prior, so he was the number 1 man in my life. He had taught me how to be a man growing up. He got out of the Marine Corps about the time that I was going into high school, and literally it helped raise me during those years. I was at his house constantly. I learned how to talk to girls. I learned how to be confident. I was this skinny little awkward kid, and he taught me to have a huge personality. If I didn't have that personality now, I wouldn't be here. And I looked at him as this unbreakable, giant monster, the Superman, that no matter what happened in his life, he was always going to be good, man. And we were all grieving over our father, but never in my mind did I think something would be wrong with him. I always thought, no, Mike's got this. And he succumbed to his battle, and succumbing to that battle, he left 4 children behind. He left a wife. He left my mother, who had just lost her husband of 50 years. It devastated our family. Yeah. And I had every opportunity at that time to put the guitar down. I had every opportunity to quit. I was ready to quit. I was done. I felt like everything that I had been doing for the last 2 years prior to that was a joke. I really did. And I know that I've already personally saved people. I know that. I know that I've put people in therapy and have changed their lives and altered their lives. But at the same time, I lost my brother, and I missed it. Somehow I missed it in my own family. So it was a really crazy time for me. It was a fog just sitting over me for months and months and months. And I came out of it. I wrote an entire album. I actually wrote a whole album to go with Superman Falls that told this whole story, from me getting out of the Marine Corps and staying in California to my father's death, to my brother's death, and then the aftermath of that. Superman Falls is in the peak of the album. It's my brother's death and what it did to us. the world knows. People know that 22 veterans a day commit suicide. I mean, that's a national story. That's on NBC Nightly News. That's, anywhere you look, you're going to hear about that. People were doing push-ups on the internet. I don't think they knew what the heck they were doing push-ups for, but they were doing them. They're making awareness. This isn't about awareness. This is about a little brother losing his older brother. This is about a family that is devastated afterwards, and thousands of people, 3,500 people at a funeral, thousands of people were affected by my brother's loss. And that happens 22 times a day in our community. 22 times a day in our community. And these people aren't this broken, tattered stigma of a veteran that you think of. This isn't this Hollywood flashback tripping out. It's not that. That's not what post-traumatic stress is. These are functioning people within your society that are amazing and incredible people because all they want to do is give everything for everyone else. And they lose themselves within it. And that's what happened to my brother, and that's who I'm after now with Superman Falls. I want to find those dudes before they wreck their family.
There's nothing I can add to that, bro. It's you got me tearing up over here. Because, the story, is, like you said, it's not unique to you. Of course, the loss to you can never be measured compared to somebody else's. But you got me thinking about my father who passed away a couple of years ago. And that same feeling of, oh, he's got this, everything's okay. Even though he was sick and kind of wasting away due to the illnesses that he had. Oh, he's got this, he'll always be around. Then the next day, he's not. And then you have to restructure your life and your whole view. And just being, me and relatively well, I mean, opinions vary about me, but, being relatively okay and then comparing it to you and what you're dealing with in your life every day and the demons you have to deal with every day. For you to put that into a project like what you've done with Superman Falls, my God, man, that's incredible. That's a miracle in and of itself. Do you give yourself credit at all for this stuff at all?
I don't know. I don't want to be a hero. I high five myself occasionally because I did do this. The Valkyrie Initiative called me back in September and asked me if I wanted to donate a song to their album. I said yes. When they released the track list and I saw the other people on it, because it's got Ryan Weaver and Scooter Brown Band and Rowdy Johnson. These guys are people that I've followed for a long time that I'm into. I saw that and I knew their plan was to print some CDs and sell it. I couldn't let that be that because I saw my opportunity to take my brother's story and take it public. I've done everything I can to make sure that that's accomplished. We're going to release in the top 10, I'm pretty sure. Because of how hard I worked. And the video was created. All of this was just me calling people and saying, can we do this? Can we do this? I believe in this. I recorded with a producer that literally has a Grammy on his wall. He has platinum albums from Elton John to Fleetwood Mac, and I requested that I be in there. I said, spend every bit of money that I've made in the last 3 years, because I keep it in an account. I'm a firefighter. I make money. I make sure that I have my money that I make from music sitting there waiting. And we spent every bit of that to go in and do this. I come out of my pocket on everything because I believe in this. And it's unbelievable just the response that's happened this time. It's so different. Superman Falls, it doesn't even just resonate with people that are victims of family suicide. I had a friend that lost his father, which was actually a close friend of my father. And he called me the other day and said, can I play your song at his funeral? Why would you even ask me that? Yes, of course. But he didn't take his own life, but he said his dad was his Superman, and he wanted that to be, spoken. And I don't know, when you write things and you do things, you're telling your story, but when I finish certain songs, I know that they have a different purpose. And this was that song. The moment I finished it, I knew what I had to do, and I knew that there was nothing that was going to stop me in this world from the entire world knowing about my brother. For the